So what we're going to do now is we're just going to go right back to the beginning of the slide, and we're just going to highlight some interesting tips and tricks that you can use for formatting your slides. So we'll start at the beginning. Basically, this is the company logo. It's highly advisable for you to, for your opening slide, have a large graphic that is the company's logo, and then you can have your organization's graphic. That's purely optional as a smaller logo there. But first piece of advice is for formatting and presentation reasons, the first slide should have the client's logo or something that references who the client is. It just creates I guess, a feel-good factor for the client that this is a tailor-made presentation just for them. And I would highly recommend that you do that. You'd see that the color scheme is in my organization's color scheme. I would recommend that you do that too, just so that you have that brand building as well for your organization. So client's logo, your color scheme, your formatting for the remainder of the presentation. Basics, slide numbers, also quite handy and quite important, especially if you need to refer to slide 3, slide 4, etc., etc. And bear in mind that this slide deck will be sent to the client beforehand, so they will peruse it as if it was a brochure. So it serves two purposes. Not only is it a PowerPoint presentation, but it's also an information brochure as well. So that's why there is a lot of verbiage at times in the slides. You look at slides like this, a lot of text, because this is actually sent to the client beforehand. But you'll notice that in many sections, here I was reading a lot at the beginning, but for many sections, especially when I'm talking to the financial model, I hardly ever read any text. I just showed what was in the graphs and I talked to it. I made a lot of eye contact, pretend that you were sitting in the room with me. I would have made a lot of eye contact and I would have been speaking to you as a client and not necessarily reading from a screen. But the text is there because this presentation would have been shared with you beforehand. With these contents slides, I like to use the sections of each of the presentation and then use a line that just highlights each section that we're in, and that just moves down and down and down as we progress through the presentation. So I would say that this is also an important thing to look at. You want to use a consistent text size, and in your slide master, I'll just show you where you get that. You go to view and you go to slide master here. Things like the underlining you can adjust in your slide master. So you just want to make sure that this horizontal line is pretty much consistent in slides that need it. So for this one, for instance, and this one, you want to make sure it's at the same height. It just makes your slide presentation flow more coherently. So lines like this and this at the same height, for instance. So what your slide master basically does, it just creates template slides for you to use in your presentation. So this helps you to keep a certain amount of consistency. So this is a certain type of slide. If I want to compare two graphics together, I would use this template. If I want to write a disclaimer, I'd use this template. You can just edit it in your slide master. So let's say, for instance, if you want two text boxes, then you just duplicate it here, and then you'd have a specific layout where you've got two text boxes, maybe if you want two headings, for instance. I'm just not going to change it because I've already had all the layouts that I want. So how this helps you is, let's say you want to design a new slide. Okay, I'm just going to start from scratch. What if I don't want it in this format? All I need to do is click on layout, and because I've already edited all of this in my slide master, if I want that sort of layout, then it's a lot easier for me to just click on a existing layout that I've already designed than for me to, from scratch, for instance, new slide. And let's say I didn't have any I don't have a blank one here, there, a blank one. If I wanted to recreate this, then for instance, I'd need to insert, let's say, a block there, and it would be cumbersome. Yeah. So the slide master is just a efficient way to make sure that all your layouts are created up front, so that when you create a new slide, all you need to do is just choose how you want that slide to look. And this will help you a lot with maintaining consistency throughout your presentation.